We just got done with the police. What they told us is that the footage that we shot wasn't beautiful, it wasn't pretty enough, it didn't meet their standard. They told us to delete it. Suddenly these guys are documentary filmmakers. I don't get
it. Egypt, a country famous for its history, the River Nile, the vast Sahara Desert, and its ancient pyramids. It's also a country I'll never return to again.
We're trying to keep a low profile.
And soon, you'll know why you shouldn't go either.
Keep rolling, but be less obvious.
There's a very dark, very real side to this country few travel shows and travel hosts are willing to expose. Well, let me back up and zoom out for a second. Egypt is one of Africa's 54 countries. Yes, Egypt is in Africa, and Egyptians are Africans, but many also consider them Middle Eastern. The language, Arabic. The main religion is Islam, which becomes immediately apparent as you hear calls for prayer blaring from surrounding mosque speakers. More than 95% of the country is dry, arid desert, which means the Nile is a vital lifeline to this country of 100 million. Cairo is one of the biggest cities in Africa, with a population of over 10 million. After we landed in Cairo, that's when everything started going wrong. Soon after arriving in the country and pulling up at our hotel, our bags were x-rayed, then opened, then searched. Then the police came.
From around 4:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. we were outside the lobby, in the cold, and more police coming, asking us all types of questions, treating us like criminals, suspecting us of something, but I don't know what.
For 4 hours, we were interrogated by authorities wondering who we are and what we're doing here. In the end, they confiscated our lights, hard drives, batteries, and cameras. What I couldn't figure out then was, what were these guys so paranoid about? And then I read about Egypt's revolution.
The Arab Spring spreads to Egypt with a day of rage.
Demanded the resignation of then-President Hosni Mubarak.
They were scenes that gripped the world's attention.
In December 2010, this so-called Democratic Republic faced mass demonstrations. The people were challenging authorities over poverty, corruption, and political repression. Many of these protests were held in Cairo in the city center, incredibly close to the hotel where they just confiscated our gear. Over a period of weeks, demonstrations reached a climactic and tragic head on January 25th. On that date, the people made their voices heard by demanding President Mubarak to stand down. The Mubarak regime responded with violence. In the end, he did step down, but future leaders never forgot the impact and power the people had. Now, even years later, there's a paranoia that envelops the city, especially leading up to January 25th. We landed here on January 16th.
I regret this immediately! Oh, I just had a good idea.
Without cameras,
come take a look at this beauty.
My team and I have decided to shoot this series using iPhones.
Not bad.
Still, our problems are just beginning.
Right now, the van is at a police station. They've gone through the shots on my phone. We don't know what's going to happen next.
Even with just phones, even though we have a valid shooting permit,
it's not exactly laws here.
Cairo's overzealous, paranoid police are on top of us.
They don't even wear uniforms.
Stopping us, asking us to delete shots they don't find beautiful.
This guy behind me, he could be police. But probably not.
In this series, you're going to witness the real Egypt, a straightforward documentation of what it's really like to be a filmmaker in Africa's worst country for shooting. Along the way, we're watching our backs and ducking into alleyways, all to capture the most delicious,
oh my gosh,
unique food flavors you'll find anywhere.
I was not expecting this!
From bustling Cairo,
this place is wild, it's mad, it's very busy. Sorry, am I in your way? See? You see what I'm saying? Let me do a spin move right here. Boom, we're good.
To chaotic Camel Market.
Jeez. We've almost literally effing run over about 5 times now. When you're here, you need to watch your back and your friend's back.
To the center of the Sahara Desert, far from police.
Here it's completely peaceful, and there's something really interesting, like when everyone's quiet, it's real silence.
You'll you'll see the food.
They're eating about one sheep every 2 weeks. That's like 25 a year. That's a lot.
But you'll also see the people, kind locals, completely unlike the boorish authorities who run this place.
This is the boss of the camel, mother from another mother.
I came to Egypt to introduce an audience of over 8 million to this country's heartwarming cuisine and friendly locals.
Hey!
Instead, I have no choice but to be honest and transparent.
Laws here are unclear, and people just kind of do what they want to do.
In this 4-video series, you will see food.
Are people eating this?
Yes.
You will experience culture, and I will reveal the dark realities of being a traveler in a country that treats its tourists like criminals. It all starts here. As the first rays of light pierce through the trees and old dust-caked buildings of Cairo, a small window of peace gradually fades away, replaced by the hustle and bustle of city life. Cars, motorbikes, bicycles, and the occasional horse or donkey populate the streets. Crowds are massive and move like schools of fish with a beautiful chaos like no place I've seen before. Let me be clear, I like this city. It has character. On camera, it looks amazing. However, I don't like and I don't respect the people who run it. Day 1, Location 1. Our conniving and mostly useless local producer has brought us here. A small street-side eatery on a quiet road. Low traffic means a lower chance of suspicious police or quickly forming mobs. Sounds great, but what's on the menu?
We are in the kitchen of our first location, and I'm excited because I don't know what people in Egypt eat for breakfast, but right now I'm getting a little bit of a hint. Behind me, he is frying French fries, and he just made falafel too. The falafel here is made with fava beans and then fried until they look like little hockey pucks. For now, I'm gonna go to the serving area where they have so much food, and I'm gonna decide what we're gonna eat officially for breakfast today. Let's go.
This is Saad Al-Harami, a restaurant named after its owner. Mr. Saad specializes in dishes that use fava beans. Fava beans are a common breakfast here in Cairo. With over 40 years of experience, Saad can mix and match flavors in over 50 ways.
Hello, sir. Good morning. He's really busy right now. Here he has about 15 different dishes and tons of flavor combinations. So people come, they step up, they order, and then he's kind of the main guy making it happen. Someone just ordered a chip sandwich. Another chip sandwich? I should get one of those. Oh, so now he's not busy. Oh, hey. We connected after all. Oh my God, see, it just takes persistence. So right now he's gonna make me a chip sandwich. He's got the soft bread here, puts in the chips, some salt, and then this is a white sauce. I'm not sure what that is yet. He puts in some salad, some greens, carrots, a little bit of cabbage in there. Can this be the plate, please? Yes. Yes. And he won't give it to me at all. I promise I'll pay. Crunchy. There's something delectable about putting a soft carbohydrate with a crunchy chips. I don't know if you guys were poor like me, but when I grew up, I would just make a potato chip sandwich with ketchup or with butter. And so it takes me back to those days, to the days of my impoverished youth. Most of the flavor is coming from the salt he added and the tahini. Tahini's kind of new for me. I don't know if I've had that before.
Tahini. It's an Arabic condiment made from toasted ground whole sesame seeds, made into a paste. Here, you'll see it join most meals.
The tahini, it's salty, a bit of sweet sourness. I don't know, I need to try that more to kind of pin it down. The bread is excellent, it's soft, it's chewy. It's a great little treat before you eat your actual breakfast, which we're gonna do next. Aside from chip sandwiches, they have something called fool. The fool is something that is eaten commonly for breakfast here all throughout the city of Cairo. And what it is, it's fava beans.
Fava beans are one of the oldest cultivated plants with evidence of their incorporation into Egyptian diets dating back to at least 6000 BC. Now in present day, they're a staple in Egypt, used in dishes like fool and falafel. The fool, a soupy dish made with stewed fava beans, salt and pepper, corn oil, tahini, and chili sauce.
It kind of looks like refried beans in a way, but it probably tastes different because it has spices in there too.
Falafel, a bean cake made with fava beans, spices, garlic, and herbs. Roll it into balls and deep fry.
This is kind of a typical Egyptian breakfast, something you might expect to see in the morning here in Cairo, and it's beautiful. There's a huge selection. People probably wouldn't order as many things, but I have. Let's take a look at these. I mentioned French fries for breakfast. I can't say that this is rare. I'm looking around, I see almost everybody here has ordered the French fries. Not bad. Here, this is falafel. I'm gonna break that open. Oh, very nice. Looking extra crispy, fried, and delicious. As far as I know, it's not meant to be eaten with anything. I'm just gonna try it plain like this. Let's go for it. Super crunchy and pretty airy too. Falafel's not always my favorite. Sometimes I find falafel can be really dry. But here, this is one of my top falafels I've ever had. I think because they're using a different type of bean, it's much more airy and light, and it's not just like a thick, big chunk of fried stuff. The main reason I came here is for this. This is called fool, and this is a very common breakfast that you'll see in Cairo. You can't really eat it with your hand. It's not really a spoon provided. You kind of lap it up with the bread right here. This bread is super famous here in Cairo. It's called Egyptian bread, and I want to go right now to see how it's made. And then we get teleported. Behind me now, an Egyptian bread bakery. You can see from the front the fresh bread coming out, people buying it over here. But we're gonna go into the back and see what few people have seen before. Let's go. Here, it's a very tight fit. It's enough space for the ingredients and the oven. That's basically all that's here. In the back room, you can see they're making the flour, they're making the dough.
Made with a simple recipe, this is the backbone of Egyptian cuisine. Hearty, thick, gluten-rich, round, and flat. It's consumed with almost all Egyptian meals, eaten fresh daily. Street-side bakeries like this are found on every block, with delivery men nimbly balancing racks of fresh bread on their heads.
Way in the back room, tucked away from the daylight, you see where the process begins. He's already made the dough, and then he portions it into these perfect little balls, and it goes on top of this powder. This powder is like a wheat flour that's been baked. Its only purpose is to make the dough not stick to the sheet. And look at how he moves. Each of these big old pieces of wood gets about 15 to 20 on there. Now this is gonna hang out here in this room for about 20 minutes to an hour. During that time, it's gonna flatten out naturally, and then it's gonna be ready to go into the oven. That's the next step. But here, I just wanna appreciate the skill. I mean, look at this. It's like an optical illusion. How is he doing it? Nice, thank you. Boom, boom. We are now at the roasting station. So this is where it's gonna go from dough to something beautiful. He's gently peeling it off of this dust. It's like a wheat dust that everything rests on. And the way he flips it in his hand, it kind of helps expand the dough, and then that gets plopped onto here. This is a conveyor belt. It's super hot. Hundreds of degrees. You can hear the fire underneath heating it up. So they bake hundreds of these at a time, load them up on the conveyor belt, and that just moves and moves continuously. And on the other end, let me tell you, my habibi, that is magical. The bread is completely done, and they lay it out here. So people are coming every minute, every second, ordering big bags of this bread. And sometimes you see people, they'll grab these big pallets of bread, put it on their head, and they'll even ride a bike while carrying the bread and delivering it to different restaurants or different families. They're bringing a fresh one here right now. Oh, yes, yes, look at this. Oh, it is like a choo-choo train. It's full of steam. It's hot. It's toasty on the top. You can see the different textures. The bottom texture has been affected by sitting in that wheat dust. It's a bit rough and coarse. And then on this side, of course, you can see how it's been toasted by the flame. That is beautiful, and it's so hot. Oh, it's so delicious. It's warm, it's stretchy, it's soft, it's a little bit toasty since it's so fresh.
This bread plays a huge part in Egyptian life, not only incorporating calorie-dense carbohydrates into the local diet for thousands of years, but it can also be used as a utensil. Pick up food, scoop up some sauce, or wrap it around anything you like.
So that's how you make Egyptian bread. So I'm gonna break off a piece. I'm gonna dip it in the food. I wanna really mix the contents, mainly that bean, but there's other flavor enhancers in here too. There's chili powder, tons of tahini. Let's try it out. It's got a lot of flavor. I mean, it's really starchy from the bean. That's the main thing I noticed. The tahini is very unique because it almost acts like a yogurt, the way it's mixed with different dishes, but it's not dairy at all. It's crushed sesame seed that have been pureed down into this thick sauce. I'm feeling it. Not super bold flavors, but it's hearty, it's savory, and it kind of gives you a lot of energy for starting your day. The last thing I want to try is this right here. So this is the one called mish.
Mish is a traditional and pungent Egyptian dish made by fermenting salty cheese for several months or even years.
That is intense. Super salty, kind of pungent, and then the tomatoes offer some relief because it's just so powerful. It almost has a fermented quality to it, but I like it. It seems like a good food to mix and match with everything else. You're getting some new flavors, and then you can move back over to the food. So this is it. A beautiful way to start your day. A ton of foods here, and actually all of this for under $5. You can't do much better than that. So that's breakfast. We have a lot more food to see today. Let's go. We are on our way to our next location, but first I saw a gentleman making street food. I like his style. He's a hustler. He drove here on his motorcycle. He brought all these ingredients and he's making sandwiches. And this reminds me of these long, thin banh mi's they have in Vietnam. So right here you see a long, thin baguette bread. So he just takes the egg, he cuts it into slices, he puts salt, pepper, and then he puts something they call here turkey cheese. The cost is about under $1. I'm gonna, I feel weird eating long objects like this on the internet. I don't want you guys to Photoshop anything in my hand. Hold on, I'm just gonna block your view. Is this the best thing in the world? No. It's cheap, it's quick, it's easy, it tastes good. There's soft bread here, and there's cheese. Oh, the cheese is very good. The cheese has a very sharp, almost delightfully stinky smell to it. What I like most is just the story of what's going on here. More than anything else, I like people who hustle and who work their ass off. That's what he's doing here. Sir, hello? Oh, I'm shaking with the wrong head.
Located in the heart of downtown Cairo's hectic car mechanics district, our next treat is inside here, a local hotspot offering one of Egypt's national dishes. People don't just line up for the flavors, but to take in the gravity-defying display.
Welcome to one of the busiest street food locations in all of Cairo. This place is wild, it's mad, it's very busy. Sorry, am I in your way? See? You see what I'm saying? Let me do a spin move right here. Boom, we're good. Behind me, they're making a food called kosheri. They have an assembly line full of gentlemen who are one by one adding ingredients that add up to this really famous dish. I'm gonna go back there now and maybe get kicked out. I didn't ask permission. Let's go.
Kosheri, a type of mixed rice dish, originated during the mid-19th century. This dish combines Italian and Arab culinary elements.
Excuse me. Thank you. As you move down, you see this is where the action really happens. So many raw ingredients is beautiful. So they have the rice, they have pasta, two different types of pasta. There's a spaghetti and kind of like a cut up elbow noodle. Then there's some meat, and right here, this is my favorite part, the fried onions. He flips it in, and he really gives it some style. Can we see it? Boom, there it is. Flip, flip, flip. I gotta say, his accuracy is not 100%. About half of the fried onions are actually getting into the container, but it's a great show. And all the people, they're looking up at us here. They can't see all the onions being dropped on the floor. After the onions, it gets the tomatoes, it gets the chickpeas, but that's just if you're getting it for takeout. If you're eating here like I am, they build the rest of the dish at your table. Let's go see what that looks like now. All right, all right. Everything's separated right now. On the sauce, they put salt and pepper, a little bit of vinegar, something spicy. Oh, yes. Squeeze of lime or lemon. And then they put that on top of the feast right here. That looks incredible. Look at this. I'm no expert, but when you come to places like this, you have to look around and see what other people are doing. And I see that no one just eats it from the top to bottom. They mix it all up and they get it all layered. So all the flavors are in each bite. I'm gonna grab a big spoonful. That looks beautiful. Wow, it's like a spaghetti. So it's like a spaghetti, but then you have the fried onions, which adds an interesting dimension of savoriness. And then you've got chickpeas in there. They're almost soggy, but it adds a very different texture to everything. There is some meat on here, but it's not super easy to taste amongst everything else. A lot of this series is about me trying to figure out what Egyptian food even is, because it's something I've never experienced before. Now I'm in the heart of the country. I'm trying really authentically pure Egyptian food. Can I put my finger on exactly what Egyptian food is yet? No, but I need to keep trying, I need to keep eating.
Just after filming Kosheri, the police stopped us and made our production van drive to the nearby police station. They caught us in the sinful act of filming bread on the sidewalk.
Oh, it's so delicious. Right now, the van is at a police station. All the local people have been taken out of the van. They've gone through the shots on my phone, and we don't know what's gonna happen next. It's possible they'll try to delete the footage. Luckily, we've already just airdropped the footage to a decoy phone, so it doesn't matter, but hopefully it doesn't get to that anyways. But this is what it's like to shoot here. All we were doing is shooting with phones on the street at a bakery And that was enough to have our whole vehicle have to be pulled into here to speak to the police and to justify our actions, even though we have a permit to shoot. Doesn't matter. So, not sure what's gonna happen. We're gonna find out pretty soon. So, we just got done with the police. We're at our next location now. Get this, they told us to delete our footage. Why? No reason. Do we have a permit? Yup. Do we break a law? No. As far as I can understand, it all depends on how the people at the top are feeling on that particular day. What they told us is that the footage of the bakery we shot wasn't beautiful, it wasn't pretty enough, it didn't meet their standard. They told us to delete it. Suddenly these guys are documentary filmmakers. I don't get it. So did we actually delete it? Absolutely not. While we were waiting, we airdropped all the footage to an extra phone. That's the phone I showed them, and that's the footage I deleted. They don't even know how the phones work. It's all the footage is in my delete bin right now. I could just restore it at any time. So that's fortunate, but literally every minute we're shooting in the city, we're looking over our shoulders, we're constantly paranoid, and I don't really like it. It's not that fun, to be honest. But we have a job to do. The mission must go on. I actually really like this next food we're doing, so I'm gonna get to it. Hawashi.
Oh my God! When it comes to Egyptian street food, hawashi is a big top contender. And when it comes to hawashi, well, you must come here. The perfect place to film street food while being shielded from the view of the police. This place is called Hawashi Al Rafai. They're known for their unique recipes and a wide-ranging menu with tons of variations, like hawashi with cheese or other various meats. Now, the question that must be answered, what the heck is a hawashi?
This is one of my favorite foods I've tried so far. I'm sorry, I tried this one without you guys. Sometimes I eat on my own time. And it's one of my favorites. So here's how it starts. First of all, this is just like the Egyptian bread. My man here, he cuts the edges off so it can be opened up easily. Then over here, they're weighing out some minced lamb meat. That lamb meat is spiced, it's delicious, and it gets spread, kind of smeared by hand within this bread disc.
Hawashi is a typical Egyptian sandwich. What makes this place stand out are the secret spices they put into the meat. Once a batch of hawashi is stuffed, they bring them to the grilling station.
Here, he puts it on this very hot griddle. The meat's gonna cook through, the bread's gonna get crispy, and all of it is gonna be absolutely delicious. I've had this before, but I've never had it with cheese. It's steaming up, there's spices, there's lamb, there's cheese, it smells incredible. Let me show you really quick. I love this. Oh yes, ooey gooey cheese on the inside. Oh, as he cuts it, you can see the cheese squirting out. That looks so good. Aside from this, we also have pickled vegetables and we have tahini here. Now, I've tried tahini a couple times today. I still don't quite know what it tastes like because I haven't tried it alone. Interesting. To me, it's similar to a hummus. It has a little bit different feeling in your mouth because it's not made with chickpeas, it's made with sesame seeds. But with the spice, the salt, the texture, it's a little hummusy. I'm gonna try some of these pickled vegetables right here. We got tomato, eggplant. I'm gonna grab some of the carrot. Wow. Okay, pickle overload. I think that is the palate cleanser, but I need to cleanse my palate from that with the Pepsi. I've noticed in this country the pickles are on another level. They're super salty, sour, and spicy too. It's kind of addictive though. It's such a powerful flavor. It punches you in the face like eating raw garlic. But then after a while, it goes away, it dissipates, and you want another hit. This is why we're here. Oh, beautiful cheese pull. We'll try it out. There's so many things to love. The texture is so crunchy. The bread by itself is amazing. The meat is beautifully seasoned, almost a little bit like eating a Sikh kebab with all the spices and flavors and just a very fine mince. Take a look at this. Here you can see when I peel the top layer off, the cheese is still sticky. Not too liquidy, not too solid. Give it a little bit of a dip. Is this what people do? I'm assuming it's there as a dip, like ranch. I don't know if I can say it's improving it. It is adding a different level, different dimension. It's like dipping something that's already very delicious and putting it into hummus. It doesn't need anything extra. It's beautiful just how it is. Just like your wife, girlfriend, whoever you're sleeping with. Keep telling them that. They love that stuff. I believe, if it's not too late, we've got one more spot to go. Let's do it. If the police don't stop us.
Rivers winding round words in my head. Shivering pines say that summer is dead.
Our first day of shooting in Cairo was quite a mixed bag. The police took our cameras. Our local Egyptian producer turned out to be completely incompetent, and even more police told us to delete our footage. On the bright side, I got to hang out with some really cool, kind people. I ate some fantastic food.
It's my favorite thing we've tried today. I love it.
And I get to visit one of the 7 man-made wonders of the world.
We are right outside the pyramids right now. We're gonna ride the camels because that's what you do when you come here. I've been told the first thing I should do is find a camel that speaks to me. This one just farted. It has gas. That's how I know it's my spirit animal. All right, this is a camel for me.
Can't trust a man 'cause he just let you down.
This series and my experience in Egypt, they're both complicated. I have nothing against the people of Egypt. I just think in a country that makes 12% of its GDP from tourism, the police, the authorities, and those who run this place might want to stop treating their tourists like spies and criminals. Next time, on day 2, against my better judgment, I'll be going for another round in Cairo. Let's hope it goes better than today.
Right now we're in Old Cairo. So here they have a lot of really cool street food and markets like this behind me. What's on the menu? I'm not sure yet. We're gonna go place to place, stall to stall, and see who's gonna let us come in and shoot some videos.
Today, I'm on a mission to discover this city's most unique street food.
And then you eat the meat. That was a donkey!
Food I never expected to find here.
It is so tender, it is wild.
From sheep heads,
My tongue will meet this tongue, let's go.
all the way to pigeons.
Oh my God, it's happening!
This place is full of exotic surprises.
Oh guys, what is going on in here?
Hopefully, we won't have another surprise police encounter.
This guy behind me, he could be police.
But I guess I'll have to find out.
But probably not.
Right after breakfast. Off the main roads, if you duck into the right alleyways, you'll find clumps of street food vendors like here. Next to an intersection in a residential area, meat sellers capitalize on the constant foot traffic. Customers are lured in by the heavy wafts of grilled and fried beef.
Boom, we've come to our first destination. Behind me, we've got sausages, liver, but look at this is my favorite. It's a big cow head. It looks like it's been dried or maybe a witch put a spell on it. I don't know, let's go find out more. And then this is where the magic happens. So it looks like everything here is beef oriented. That is sausage.
Mumbar.
Mumbar, intestine sausage. Tahol. Liver.
That's it.
Tongue. Oh, cool. Okay. Can I have 2 cow head? Okay. Real good. It's just beefy. There's no real seasonings in it, and it tastes like it's been braised for like 4 or 5 hours, but this should be in something.
This beef is eaten in a sandwich. Various beef cuts are sliced and tossed into a pan called a challah.
There was something like this I saw in Mexico, but literally the opposite. This is concave, that was convex.
The fried beef bits are tossed into some traditional Egyptian bread along with fried onions.
This is our first meal of the day. This is breakfast, a bunch of random cow parts. I gotta say, I love that unique frying creation where it has a little pit for frying and then a big beach around it for all the food to hang out and dry off. Really cool. They have all types of different cow parts here, including the esophagus. Right here we have the brazen station. You can see they have everything in there. I mean, what is that? Oh, okay, so that is the esophagus. It looks so bizarre. It's like something from Aliens. I didn't know how to order it. It looked like they're still cooking it, so maybe next time for the esophagus. But here, inside of this bread, we've got onions, liver, sausage, and then I think they put a little bit of face. Oh, take a look at it. This looks real good. Let's go for it. Oh. I have no idea what body part that is. It's quite good actually, but super oily. But they have a nice salad on the side here. Here we got onions, tomatoes, chilies, and a little bit of cucumber. It's kind of like a Arabic pico de gallo. So I'm gonna use my bread just to pick up some of that. Try that out. Oh. So this is pretty good. It's spicy, refreshing. I like it. I like it a lot. On the side here, that I believe is tahini.
Tahini, a sort of hummus made of sesame seeds. It's found alongside most meals here.
I'm gonna just dip a little bit of my meat in there. It's a bit nutty, but it's not my favorite. It's like a salt bomb in your mouth, but here, beautiful seasoned beef sausage with onions on top. Let's try it out. It's super rich, super fatty, but quite delicious. I think what they do here is they got the bread. I'm gonna put the sausage in there, some onion. I'm throwing some of this on there, and then I'm gonna put all that in a little bit of the tahini. That's delicious. It's a lot of powerful flavors, but when you mix them together, it's quite delicious. This is a good breakfast.
Egypt is a Muslim majority country, which means most follow a strict halal diet. This means no pork, no reptiles or other animals some might consider extreme meats. But when it comes to the animals they do eat, like lamb, well, people here eat everything, including the head and face.
Behind me, a very popular street food stall here. It's all about all the offcuts from the sheep. So you're gonna see head, stomach, organs, sausage. I saw sausage too. The sausage is gigantic, by the way. I was very impressed by it. Not jealous, just impressed. Oh my God, come take a look. So right here, we have just an inordinate amount of different sheep parts.
Here, these lamb heads are boiled in local spices for hours until the meat and fats break down and become incredibly tender.
I have a big plate with the sheep head. Everything.
Although this meat may seem exotic to some, here, it's no big deal.
Oh, he just cut me off a little piece of sausage here. That looks awesome. There's tons of rice in there. Let's try it out. It's spicy and very tomatoey and full of rice and some animal fat too. That's good. My plate here. He's finishing it right now. Oh, he's put some salt on it, some pepper. Oh, yes. Take a look at this. So many different foods. Time to sit down and eat. Let's do it. So far, so good. No one really seems to give a crap what we're doing right now. And most of the vendors we've gone to have been pretty nice. This guy was a little impatient at first until I dropped 100 pounds, just like $6.30. And I said, hey, fill up a plate. That's what he did. And he's been very happy to accommodate any of our requests ever since. Here, we have a broth. This reminds me of meat that I've had in Mexico where they braise the meat forever and they take the juice, because when you braise it for a long time, a lot of the fat flavor is gonna go out of the meat and then into the broth. So we have that, we have some bread, and there always seems to be some kind of a little bit of a salad on the side too. All right, let's get into it. First, this is the tongue. I'm gonna rip the tongue off of here, and then I'm gonna hit it with the lime and try it out. Slimy, yet satisfying. There's something about it. It's got personality. Very nice. All right, next let's try the brain. Here you can see all the ridges in the brain. You know, they say the more ridges you have, the smarter you are. So maybe the sheep knew several languages. It was probably a polyglot. I'm gonna put this on the bread and treat it like a topping for the bread. All right, this is my little brain taco. Let's try it out. I can't do like a, oh, that's so delicious, yummy face, like I just ate delicious scallop or something. It is brains. It is creamy, it's bold. I probably put too much of it on there. If you're looking to get gout so you can get disability leave, I recommend eating this every day. I'm gonna try this broth now. Oh, wow, that is muttony. If you are not a mutton fan, I mean, that is pure mutton distilled down into a juice. Electrolytes. All right, let's see what else they have in here. Oh, right here. This was in probably the inside of the cheek somewhere, so I'm gonna try that. Super rich, soft, tender. The thing is, nothing has a ton of flavor. Here, this is some actual salt. You can see all the fingerprints. It's like a crime scene in there. I think people usually put a bit of that salt onto the meat. Let's try it out. This is a tough food for tourists because if you come here and you don't know the lay of the land, you might walk away a little bit disappointed, or you might even say this didn't have enough flavor, but there's other flavor enhancers all around it. So you need to mix and match until you get the right blend of flavors. These are skills that people here have grown up with. They see their parents, how they're mixing and matching food. That's what you gotta do.
This restaurant brings a whole new meaning to the words slow and low. This place is called Nefa, named after the dish they sell, El Nagahi, named after the owner, who cooks a lamb. So mouth-watering, it sells out each day.
We have come to our next destination. I'm with the chef right now, and take a look at this. This is something completely magical. Sheep that's been cooked underground. He's pulling the bones out now, and it's so soft. It looks so delicious. Look at that, that's like a shoulder blade or something. Can I have that? I'm gonna pull this meat right off of the bone. Oh, that looks so juicy. Take a look at this.
This here is the Nefa. It's been around for more than 100 years. A lamb cooked in an underground oven without any spices or seasonings. The flavors come from the high quality wood and fresh meat. It's cooked low and slow until every cut is fall off the bone soft.
I'm gonna try it out. Wow, that is delicious. Soft, sticky, tender. Oh, He said it melts in your mouth. He said you don't even have to bite. You can just squeeze it with your tongue against the roof of your mouth. It is that soft. Can I order 1 kilogram? Yes. Okay. please. This looks incredible, a huge platter full of different mutton parts. And I have to say, this reminds me so much of Mexico right now. There's a few parallels between this and barbacoa. The barbacoa in Mexico, they also cook it underground, and they also are famous for kind of cooking it with no seasonings at all. And that's the same thing they've done here. Beyond that, in Mexico, you eat everything with a tortilla. Here, you eat everything with Egyptian bread. It's a very different part of the world, but kind of a similar recipe. I can't wait to try it out. There's so many yummy looking pieces here right in the middle. Take a look. This is a bunch of different types of meat. Look at that. It's still steaming hot. It's shiny. It looks like it put on some baby oil and went to the beach. Let's try it out. That is so good and so rich, so incredibly heavy. That's why they have this here. This is a salad and it cuts through the heaviness a little bit, but they also have this here. This is called salad dressing water. Some people also call it Egyptian whiskey. The fact is, it is 0% alcohol, which is unfortunate, but I'll try it anyways. Oh, it might as well get you drunk. It's basically like vinegar, chili powder, chilies, maybe salt. It's really tense. Tense and intense. Then we have right here the bread. I'm gonna make myself a little bit of an Egyptian barbacoa taco. I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna start layering in some meat. Throw some herbs on there. Then the tahini. Here we go. And you know what? Oh man, this is one of my favorite things I've eaten so far in this country. Super soft bread, really flavorful, natural tasting lamb, and then maybe adding a touch of salt from the tahini, and that is perfection. I love it.
Before we move on, there's one more dish the chef insists I try: boiled lamb testicles.
This is what the owner calls Viagra. It's funny, right? Because you come to an Arabic country, you think maybe people are very conservative. Not always. Oh, they feel really gooey and fatty. He said, I toss it back and I'll be like a young, virile man again. Here we go, one shot of full sheep testicle. It really just tastes like testicle soup. Do you think I was gonna say chicken? No, it's nothing like chicken. Not at all. It's fatty, gooey, savory. It's like kind of soupy a bit. I'm worried about having two. Maybe I'll have too much power. My wife's not here. She's gonna get a visa. Right now, we're going to the very top of a building, a rooftop. Here in Cairo, there's not a lot of space, but they've got rooftops, and here they keep something very special. Let me show you. Oh my gosh. I regret this immediately. Oh, I just had a good idea.
Allow me to introduce you to the Cairo craft of bird keeping.
In here, there must be 50 or so pigeons. It's a crap load of pigeons. And actually, speaking of a crap load, look down here. It's a load of crap.
In this city, it's not uncommon to see men standing on rooftops, waving a flag, and corralling their pigeons. That's because around once a day, the birds are released and allowed to fly freely to get some exercise.
Oh my God, it's happening! Yeah, go, go, go. Wow, this is wild.
To communicate with the pigeons, the bird keeper uses a complex series of whistles and gestures signaling whether they should fly higher or come home. Amazingly, they always return. Sometimes the bird keepers will have one bird less, and sometimes one bird more. As you can see, people here really love their pigeons, whether they look like this or like this.
Right here, we are on the side of the street. To be honest, I don't know where we are at all. We're somewhere in Cairo, somewhere where we've not been caught. Can you believe this, guys? We've shot almost a whole day. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Here in this alleyway, there's a special shop selling a delicacy here in Egypt, pigeon.
These pigeons are filled with the heavily and heavenly spiced rice-based stuffing, then deep fried until they're crispy.
I've been told you can actually eat everything. These bones seem thick and hard. I don't know how that's possible. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's super yummy. It tastes like buttery rice with fried chicken skin on the outside. Oh man, that's really nice. I'm gonna kind of rip the spine back. Someone told me I could eat this. Let's see if I break my teeth. Oh God, it's working. I'm eating a pigeon spine. And to be careful, there's some bone shards. You don't want to kill yourself on accident while eating this, and that's something I advise with most foods. Here, I'm gonna wash it down with this. Can you guess what it is? Is it coffee? No, it's pigeon soup. Let's try it out. Oh Wow. Oh my God. It's like pure fat. I think if this got to room temperature, it would turn solid like butter. Wow. That's just pure richness. So far, I haven't really tried any of the pigeon meat, just its spine and the stuffing inside. Most of the meat is in the pigeon breast. I'm gonna try to rip it off and see if I can show you. So that right there is a little bit of rice and the breast. It better be a lot of bang for the buck. Let's go. Very beautiful. Like Mediterranean spices, soft, juicy breast, amazing buttery rice. I love it. Next time you're walking through New York or Chicago and you see hordes of pigeons collecting together, don't be disgusted. Think, hey, that's delicious food, I bet. Maybe collect one for yourself and bring it to an Egyptian guy. Don't do that. Maybe. I'd try it out.
For our final stop, we have something really special. A restaurant with a complex of cooking stations, serving endless meat options. But we're here for their signature soup that comes with its own show.
Welcome to our next restaurant. This place is Egyptian meat heaven. Let me give you a little bit of a tour. Right here, sausage. So right now he's cooking up literally thousands of little bitty sausages. Oh, thank you. All right, take a look. It's burning my fingers off, but it's worth it. Let's try it out. Oh, I can't put my finger on all the meats that are inside, but man, that is good. Right here we have another meat, but this is much more like beef that's been shaved. It's very thin steak. He's just putting it back and forth, making sure it doesn't burn. That looks super good too. Let's keep going this way. Wow, everything here is on such a big scale. They just must have so many customers coming in each day. Here also it looks like beef, and that's just hitting the flat top. We're not done. This is hawashi. This is something we did get to try yesterday. But here they're doing the same thing, large scale, cooking just dozens of them at a time. Looks awesome. Still, there's more. I don't even know what this is. This looks like some kind of organ meat. Is this liver? Yeah, all right. We got liver meat. Is this where your liver is? I'm not sure. I should feel for what hurts because I drink too much. Yeah, it's right here. Oh yeah, it's tender. Been doing a lot of work lately.
I've come here for the malachaya, and if you thought being sung happy birthday at an Applebee's was embarrassing, wait until you see this.
This is the malachaya. He's talking to me. Oh my God! I was not expecting this. Oh God, don't get it in my eyeballs. I'm scared.
Malachaya is known as the food of kings, a traditional Egyptian soup made from jute leaves, a sort of Egyptian spinach. This soup is so intense, it used to be outlawed in Egypt for its alleged aphrodisiac effects.
Okay. And just like that, it's over. Here, we have a whole table full of food. Let's do a little bit of a tour. We got some of the classics, the bread, the salad, the tahini. And then here, this is what they just poured out. This is the malachaya. I think I'm saying it right. Maybe I need to put in some more kh, but I'll work on that later. Here, this is what I'm gonna start with right here. This is
hoof soup. Start by chopping down cow hooves and ankles into smaller pieces. Those are boiled and added to a clay pot where they're soaked in a beef broth and cooked with allspice, nutmeg, cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, and cloves.
It just goes really with the theme for today, which has been really super rich foods. Come take a look. These are all the little bits and doodads that hold the legs together and make it move. Oh gosh, look at that. That's just a piece of tendon. Oh, this is one of my favorite things to eat. In Vietnam, we'll see how it compares here. Very rich. That's like the word of the day. It's like I don't even need chapstick now. It has oiled up my lips. Oh, let me get some of that broth. It looks like something Exxon would be responsible for. Woo. Oh, it's so just greasy, but I love it. Here, we have the green one that we talked about already. We saw it almost scalded me and went into my eyeballs earlier. I'm not gonna try that yet because it's meant to be tried with this. This is tomato on top of rice. It's almost like a chunky marinara. This white rice is supposed to mix with the green stuff here. Let's see how this goes because this is borderline slimy. It looks like Shrek's toilet. So we've got our rice, a little tomato, a little of the malachai. I just like saying it. It makes me feel like I know Arabic. Try it out. That's really good. It reminds me a lot of spinach. Like if you've got spinach that's been seared in oil until it's really like broken down and become kind of greasy. Because if you look at the top of this, that's just pure oil. I know what you're thinking, oh, so like olive oil? No, it's just cooking oil. The one vegetable I've seen all day, it is just full of oil. It is delicious. It has a very unique, super savory, spinachy type taste to it. But man, that is heavy. I think I might explode if I take one more bite of anything. I can tell that people here in Egypt, at least in Cairo, they love heavy food and they love their meat. Tons of mutton, tons of beef. There's chicken out there too, but we didn't have that today. Otherwise, that is a pretty successful day too. I can't complain. We went to 6 places and honestly, no police. How's it possible? Maybe we're gonna get through this series after all. Fingers crossed. Let's see.
After being in Cairo for 2 days,
my God!
And after being stopped by multiple police who asked us to delete our footage, I think it's time to leave. But I'm not leaving Egypt. Oh no. We're jumping in a van, leaving Cairo, and driving to one of this country's most out-of-this-world sites.
Jeez. We've almost literally effing run over about 5 times now. When you're here, you need to watch your back and your friend's back.
Today, I'm on a mission to buy and cook an entire camel.
Are people eating this?
Yes.
It sounds straightforward, but more threats of police
At any moment, police could stop us.
and literal threats from our own local producer make this day much more than I bargained for. In the end, I hope to experience one of Egypt's most unique delicacies.
Has he cooked this before?
Never.
Oh.
Still here. Want you now.
20 miles northwest of Cairo, about a 1-hour drive will bring you to a small village just on the edge of the Delta's cultivated land. Burgash, home of Egypt's most grand camel market. Fridays are the best days, full of action, camels proudly displayed, and plenty of commerce. And all that ends by 11 a.m., so we better hurry up. Before arriving, our local producer tells us to proceed with caution so as to not create suspicion among the local police. A quick word about our local producer. His name is Ahmed Sadiq. He was hired solely for the purpose of preparing and executing our Egypt production. In all my years of hiring producers and doing this show, I've never come across someone who's more incompetent. He's conniving and paranoid. So, when he says we have to be careful for police, I have no choice but to be paranoid too.
All right, we are heading into the camel market right now. There are camels everywhere. We're trying to keep a low profile. So we have our phones, we have our mic, we're gonna head in. No idea what's gonna happen.
Another point.
Let's go.
Men smoke shisha, some drink tea, and some are taking a break after a day of brokering undulates. This is a rare moment of peace in a place that's made up of pure chaos. I suggest leaving your kids at home for this one, Burgash Camel Market. If you don't keep your head on a swivel, you will get trampled. Cash has been trading hands for camels for over 700 years on this very ground. Generation after generation, families all the way from Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia brought their best in show here.
Right now we're in the camel market. I feel like I've traveled back in time about 100 years, maybe 1,000 years. It is wild here. It's pure chaos. There's loads of camels, people, they're shuffling them around. Sometimes they're beating them with sticks to get them to move. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. Our ultimate mission here is to go buy a camel. So we're headed to a vendor right now who is gonna provide us with a camel. We're gonna negotiate. I've heard the price is something like $1,500. So we're gonna go, we're gonna try to get a camel, and then see how much of the market we can explore before we absolutely have to get out of here. Now you guys know what's going on. Let's go.
My mama told me I should beware. I'll tell you a story about me. People who take you side, innocent girls. Don't mean to scare you, but be careful. Maybe think twice before you walk alone. Call somebody to take you home. Look over your shoulder when you go that way. This world might take you to a bad, bad place.
Oh man, what do you got there? Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
This is the boss of the camel. Brother from another mother.
In spite of the pandemonium, no authority figures seem to really care that we're here.
I was the steady camel.
Maybe Ahmed was paranoid.
You want camel?
Or maybe we're just lucky.
So far, it's not working out.
Camels are grouped according to who they belong to. The guy who looks like he owns them probably does. There are about 2,000 camels brought and sold here every week. They're marked with Arabic words, so the Gucci camels don't get mixed up with the Carhartts. Traded for cash or other livestock. These desert dwellers will be used for farming, riding, and for food.
Are people eating this?
Yes.
You eat the big one?
Yes. Eating the young also.
How much is this?
30,000.
So $2,000 to $3,000 for an entire camel.
Plus the camel here, 60,000 pounds.
Wow.
To demonstrate the health of their camels, merchants cut them loose.
Whoa. Watch
The
out.
result? Spontaneous stampedes by creatures that can weigh over 900 pounds. Following close behind in hot pursuit, the merchant with their whacking stick, attempting to subdue the animal once more.
All right, so this is what you see all over this place. There's camels run around freely, and then there's people trying to corral them by beating them with a stick. They grab them by the lip, and then when they have them kind of subdued, they're able to pull the leg back, tie it up, and then that restricts their movement enough so that they don't run away everywhere. So that's why this place is chaotic.
Now that I know the lay of the land, it's time to do some shopping of my own. It takes years of experience to know which camels are worthy of your investment. Skilled buyers focus on their feet, teeth, eyes, skin, and hair color. If you're as naive as me,
Oh, there's some really young ones back here.
you leave it up to your local producer to negotiate. And when he comes back with a price tag of $1,400, you just hope you're not being ripped off.
We have to buy one of these camels. I'm told that this is the one. You're just a year or two old. To be fair, I didn't choose a camel. It was chosen for me, relatively. Pretty soon, we're gonna load it up. We're gonna put it in the back of a truck. Well, I have no idea how this works. All right, that's how you do camel shopping in Egypt. First for me. It's a lot different than Whole Foods. I'll tell you that.
Like the pyramids, camels are a point of pride. Though that's not always clearly demonstrated, the handlers even show a little respect for the sacred animal, reciting Bismillah before shoving their full weight into the hapless creature. I wish this was the end of my transaction, but instead, it's the start of a new problem. Ahmed, our local producer, has failed to properly negotiate with the locals. Now, he's quite literally being chased down.
Liz, do you know what's going on?
He's running away from people. Everyone's asking for money.
Now that we're ready to go, some folks don't want us to leave until they get a little something for themselves.
So right now, we have our camel. We're trying to leave. They won't let us leave. They're chasing down our local producer. Everybody wants money. Everyone wants to get paid. This is how it is everywhere. It's all smiles in the beginning until you leave. There's always something else.
Ahmed circles to the back of the truck, where cameraman Kai and I are already rolling. In his flustered state, Ahmed turns his attention from the crowd to the camera, then to me.
Yes.
If you don't include something that you have to pay for it.
Understand.
Be careful. And you pay by law, not a compensation. You ask me. You ask me.
If you couldn't hear that clearly, after walking into my shot, Ahmed warns me that if he appears on camera, there will be a price to pay, and that he doesn't mean a financial price. Very nice. When you're in a new, chaotic, and near-lawless country, generally it'd be the local producer's job to create a sense of security. If you lose that too, then you're on your own. This is not how a production is supposed to go. All I care about now is getting my team out of this market in one piece.
We have our camel now. This is a narrow escape. This is the Camel Market of Egypt. A once-in-a-lifetime experience. And once in a lifetime because I will never come back here again. Holy cow. No. All right, even this guy right now, he's asking for money. He's asking for money from me. This is kind of how it works here. It always starts with smiles and it ends with a handout, sometimes chasing, sometimes a little bit of intimidation. We have the camel. It is definitely time to leave. The camel is on the way to its final destination. That's about 4 hours away. We're in the van, we're going there too. In the meantime, we stopped here at a camel restaurant. It's a restaurant and a butchery. Let's take a look at what's going on here. First of all this, camel parts. If you look inside here, there's liver, meat, it's part of the trachea or a heart. Beyond that, when you come here, can anybody guess what this is? Oh, I like it. They're gonna unwrap it. I hope they don't think I'm gonna buy it. I just bought a whole camel for a lot of money. Wow. This is a whole camel leg right here and a tail. Ugh. So I'm gonna guess it's a back leg. So this is the raw meat. I'm gonna see if they can cook something up. Something like camel liver. Camel liver is a pretty common breakfast and treat in this area. So I'm gonna see if I can get that.
The camel liver is sliced into bite-sized chunks. Then it's stir-fried with olive oil, chopped green chilies, and tomato. Then seasoned with a 7-spice blend, including pepper, cumin, and cardamom.
This is great. It looks incredible. Here is a bread. This is what you eat it with. I've had camel, but I've never had camel liver. Cut it nice and thin, and it looks quite tender. I'm gonna try it just plain to begin with. Wow, delicious. The seasonings they put on there, it's super savory, a little bit spicy. There's some chilies in here. What stands out most to me is the texture. The texture of liver can usually be kind of like almost mushy. It can like make your mouth dry while you're eating it, but here it's really snappy. So I'm gonna break some of the bread off. I'm gonna grab some pieces, and that looks real nice. Really unique texture. This is fascinating because, you know, a camel, they can go months without drinking water. I mean, I do believe the liver is part of that, as well as their hump. They've got nice humps.
Egypt is predominantly desert. Seriously, like 96%. Most of it looks like this: infertile, sandy, dry. Not surprisingly, all the life in Egypt, human and otherwise, springs up near water, especially around the Nile River. But dotted throughout the land, you can find these. Welcome to the Oasis, a fertile spot within a vast wasteland. 250 miles from Cairo, we hit BAHARIYA Oasis, home to about 27,000.
We have traveled 4 to 5 hours outside of Cairo. Right now, we're in the middle of the desert, and it is freezing. But these steps must go on. We must proceed. The next steps, we've come to a small community. The plan is to prepare the camel tonight, marinate it, let it sit, and then tomorrow it's going to be cooked, and many people from the community will enjoy it together. But the first step is to slaughter it.
Wahati people, an Arabic word that means the people of the oasis. Here the majority are Muslim. That means the slaughter must be carried out in the appropriate ritual manner. The animal must be alive, healthy, and well-fed until the time comes. After invoking the name of God, there's one quick cut, and then we wait. This platform you're watching now censors videos based on Western norms only. But around the world, a sight like this is not shocking nor sensational. It's a part of life that, at least in this culture, no one is too young to witness.
What we're in the presence of here right now is real men, and they are making quick work of this camel. It is freezing out here. You can see my breath. See what I'm saying? After slaughtering it, they skin it, they hang it up, and they kind of debone it. They go joint by joint. They're getting all the muscle off in as big of pieces as possible, and they're putting that in these buckets over here to the side, and then that is what's going to be cooked tomorrow. Right now it is 8:18. I'll say it's 10 p.m. so people think I'm tough too. Right now it's 10 p.m. Very late, but it's worth it. We're going to stay up late to make sure this gets done properly.
Marinated with olive oil, cumin, coriander, garlic, cayenne, salt, and pepper. Soon this camel meat will be made into mandi, an ancient style of underground cooking, prepared by the Bedouins, a nomadic desert people who span across many countries. Day 2, with our camel prepared and ready to cook, we're heading out of the oasis and 110 miles southwest into the White Desert. Far from civilization, far from modern conveniences, but also far from modern inconveniences, like the Egyptian police.
Here, just beyond these mountains, we're headed to a place where we're gonna be cooking all that camel from yesterday here in the desert. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a good day. We have a lot of food and a lot to see. Let's get going.
Upon arriving to our tented desert camp, instead of meeting Bedouin people, we're introduced to local tour guides, who, we abruptly find out, have never taken on a cooking challenge like this before. Now, we'll see local tour guides who have never cooked anything more than chicken attempt to cook an entire camel. This is gonna be interesting. Mandi is a barbecue-style meal very popular in the Arab world. In Mandi, the meat must be arranged on a rack and slow-cooked underground. Here's how they do it. They've already dug 2 holes and buried steel barrels in the ground. Load those holes with fiery wood until they burn down to embers.
He has all the meat from last night. It's been marinating, and he's putting it on this grill, this apparatus that's gonna soon descend into a barrel and get cooked from below with a bunch of cinders. Cinders? Embers? You know what I mean. The way they slaughter the camel is really quite unique because they've almost like just deboned it and taken off the biggest chunks of meat possible. So it's not like little bitty sirloins or steaks. Like, these are big chunks of meat going on here. All right, this is a big moment we've been waiting for. The gentlemen have all the meat stacked up here. This has got to be something like 40 pounds, 45 pounds of meat, just huge camel chunks, and we're bringing it to a barrel. This is the most important part. It's gonna go descend into the pit. These arms are gonna catch the sides, so it's not touching the fire. All the meat will essentially cook and steam inside. Okay, the blanket goes on, trapping in even more of the heat, and it's almost like they're gonna seal it around the edges using the water. So now they take the sand, they bury it, they go around the periphery. In the end, the goal here is to make it really sealed in there. We want the heat to stay in there long enough for all that meat to cook through. It's a lot of meat. It's something like 40, 45 pounds of meat that's gonna have to cook before they remove it in a couple of hours.
While the main course cooks, other dishes are being prepared. Rice, Egyptian bread, salad, stewed vegetables, and braised camel heart.
Oh yes, take a look at that. Big, beautiful chunks of camel heart just bubbling away. In the pressure cooker, camel hearts have to be huge. Camels are so tall, they have to pump blood all the way to the top of their freaking head, which is also very tall. I'm gonna try it right now. Whoa, it's good, yeah. All the organs of the camel taste a little bit different. The heart tastes like liver. It's very livery. It has a beautiful texture. It's kind of softened up. It's just got that beautiful, dense meat. Oh, it's so satisfying. It's very nice. It's interesting because out here, as soon as you get in the shade, it's very cool. So it's not that hot. It's just that you get baked by the sun. So being under here, having some nice, warm, bubbling hot heart is quite satisfying. Love it.
Back to the meat pits. 3 hours has elapsed.
All right, the moment has finally come. There's no thermometer. There's no way to like check it and put it back in. There's no way to pop open the oven door. Here, we just have to dig it up. We got one shot. If it's still raw, it's ruined.
Under this sand is our dinner. Has this team pulled it off?
Oh, you can see the steam billowing out from the hole.
Will the meat be cooked through?
All that remains is the lid to be popped off, and we're gonna see the meat.
We're about to find out.
Oh my gosh. The meat looks completely different from before. You can see it's really cooked down from the heat. Oh yes, this looks incredible. The next move, put it on the platter. This was once the lid, and then now this is where the meat is gonna sit. Can I pull some off? Wait, really? Yeah. The meat has become so soft. The fat is tender, juicy, and rendered down. Look at that. Slow cooked, beautiful, steamed, smoky. You take some, I'll take some. Cheers. Oh man, that is awesome. All right, please, continue. Their backs are breaking. That is awesome. Fatty, tender, smoky, delicious, juicy camel meat straight out of a freaking hole in the Sahara Desert. It doesn't get better than that. Well done, my man. Wow. Gentlemen, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here hanging out with you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. This is great. So first of all, the camel looks amazing. This is an incredible meal. We have all the camel here. How do we start?
In BAHARIYA Oasis, first we can eat vegetable and salad, and after we can eat it rice with the meat.
Oh, literally taking all of my willpower to not dig into the meat that's right in front of me. It's like a delicious coleslaw. Oh, so this is potatoes, some other vegetables in here. Oh, and there is some zucchini. It's steamed, it's got salt, it's got tomatoes to add a little bit of acid. It's really good.
Which one you choose to eat from here?
Oh, I can pick? Let's go with this one. Oh, no knife or anything. He's really ripping apart this meat. Just this one big chunk of meat is probably enough for all of us to eat. This is incredible. There's fatty bits, there's protein. All of it's getting mixed with the rice. That looks gorgeous. Try it out. Oh,
delicious.
Incredible. I've had camel before, but never like this. Man, the taste is so delightfully smoky, and there's some subtle spices. It's such a unique kind of meat. Would you compare camel to beef, to goat, to sheep?
No, this is different.
Different from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to pinpoint it. The texture is kind of like beef, but it doesn't taste beefy. I'm amazed. Like every bite is a little bit different. And I love that since they're cooking it in these huge chunks of meat, it really retains a lot of its moisture. I mean, this is like one whole big chunk of camel. I don't know which part this is.
From here.
The shoulder. Really?
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's the key to this unique style of cooking is like keeping it all in one piece like this so that when you steam it for a long time, inside, you've got something that looks incredibly juicy. Oh yeah. So you guys usually do chicken, you do smaller animals. Today you took on a whole camel. That's outrageous. That's wild.
I thought leaving Cairo would be the perfect way to put our problems behind us. In the end, I was introduced to a whole list of new ones.
Not a compensation.
But I'll take local squabbles over police interactions any day. I'm thinking, as long as we're in Egypt, it's probably best to stay in the countryside, far from police.
Gentlemen, I want to say thank you again. Shukran. This is a great experience for me. I can see why people like coming out here. I mean, places like Cairo, it's busy, it's loud, it's noisy, it's chaotic, and I like that too, but sometimes you need a break. And then here, it's completely peaceful. And there's something really interesting. Like when everyone's quiet, it's real silence. What was that?
I'm nothing but trouble.
Leaving the bustling cityscape of Cairo and heading into the desert was one of the best choices I've ever made.
This is a place, in Arabic, I can't pronounce it, but in English, it means difficult place. A name that could be used for all of Egypt.
Leaving the country would be even better, but that will come soon. We still have one more day here.
Can you, like, write it? Yeah. Guys, you don't have to learn other languages, you just figure it out.
Today, I'm joining a couple villagers so I can walk a day in their shoes.
This is something they do often here.
I want to see how they live, and of course, how they eat.
I have no idea what that is.
This is my last chance to squeeze some good moments out of Egypt.
Smells good.
Yeah.
And it all starts here.
Today is our 4th day shooting here in Egypt. What we figured out so far is the place to shoot is actually not Cairo. Even though we have proper permits, even though the press office of Egypt has said it's okay for us to shoot, almost every time we've come up against the authorities or police, they have tried to either stop us or make us delete our footage. So we're trying to be extra careful. That's why we're here. This is an oasis. A place in the middle of the desert, about a 5-hour drive from Cairo, that has so many different natural water springs that a huge population is able to survive out here. Today, we're spending the entire day with an Egyptian farmer. We're gonna see how he lives, what he eats, and hopefully, no police. We'll see. We are here. We're inside the farm. This is one of his compounds, a place where he cooks and hangs out during the day. This is the gentleman himself. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, he said welcome.
Meet Ahmed, a villager who's dedicated his life to the sun, wind, and sands of the desert.
This is fantastic. I'm so excited to be here because we're going to see a very unique way of life, and it starts here with his breakfast.
Render down lamb fat in a blazing hot wood fire. Then add tomato. Then green bell pepper. Season with salt, pepper, cumin, and cook until a sauce forms. That is dish 1.
In the second dish, he has the same vegetables, but he adds one ingredient I've never seen before. Come take a look.
This round-shaped biscuit is called kishk, an Egyptian ethnic food that's been eaten for thousands of years.
It's super hard.
It's basically a fermented wheat milk mixture that's been sun-dried until it's dehydrated and hard.
is so interesting. It's super hard, grainy, but it has a cheesy taste to it too. Have you ever left cheddar cheese out on the counter for too long and it's dried out a little bit, but you ate it anyways because you're an animal like me? It tastes a little bit like that. And so of course, he doesn't eat it like this. He mixes it in with these other vegetables. It's gonna kind of rehydrate it, bring it back to life, and we're gonna see what that tastes like pretty soon. I'm excited.
Break the kishk into smaller chunks, then cook with tomato and green bell pepper. Season with salt, pepper, sugar, and cumin. Now, a third dish is being prepared by Ibrahim.
I am here with Ibrahim. He's also making some breakfast too. This is food. Oh, he wants to feed me already. All right, thank you. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
tasty. This is what we saw, I think, one of the first places we went to in Cairo. What's interesting is when you start having the same type of food in different places or regions, everyone can make it a little bit differently. The one we had was more of a paste with kind of crushed up mashed fava beans. And this is kind of a combination. It's got the fava bean paste with whole beans in there too. There's tomato, there's green bell pepper, and there's spices. I think I like this style more. Good morning. This looks incredible. This is just breakfast and it's so many different items. This is called sun bread. I'm told this bread is kind of cooked half in the sun and half in the oven. Just like with the Egyptian bread, they use that as the utensil. Full? I'm gonna start with that. How do you say delicious?
لذيذ.
Ladith. I'm gonna work my way up to the kishk, but this one is Shamak. That's outstanding. It's like the world's best marinara sauce. The sun bread is awesome. It's like half stale, half crispy, but it's the perfect vehicle for all these foods. What's your favorite thing here?
All the gifts from God are good.
Good answer. This is the one I've been wanting to try. The kishk. It tastes a little bit cheesy when I had it in its raw form. Let's try it out now. Oh, that's awesome. This is so good. It's hard to put my finger on it though. I mean, it has the tomato, some fresh vegetables. Oh God, how do you explain that? The texture is like a coarse oatmeal, but the flavor is just something completely unique. There's some acid from the tomato and then a lot of richness from the milk in that bread. It's confusing, but it's really good. Is this a normal breakfast? Is this how you'd usually start out your day?
Alhamdulillah.
So I noticed there's no meat here. Do you have a meal where you usually eat meat?
Lunch.
Which animals do you eat?
The sheep.
How often are you eating the sheep?
Quite often, because we prefer to eat our own food. We don't want to get from anywhere else.
Far from modern conveniences or really modern anything, life out here is all about self-sufficiency. So farming and raising cattle are essential trades.
For farmers out here, what is the most lucrative endeavor?
He said both. The balance is important, otherwise this imbalance will force you to need things from other places and so on.
These men don't actually live here. Their homes are further into the village. This is a separate space for their cattle.
This is the farm behind me now. Almost all the animals are kept within these brick walls. Let's go inside and check it out. First, what we see, the cows. I want to pet you. They don't want to be pet, it turns out.
Cows are used for agricultural work, like tilling, irrigating, and carting.
Oh no, we have a situation.
They also provide the usual meat and milk.
I may have to give up on this whole petting thing. It doesn't look like it's working out.
And their waste helps to fertilize this already stubborn, sandy soil.
An unruly bull. Is it a bull? Hold on, let me look underneath. It's a bull.
Horses and donkeys carry freight, goods, or supplies.
One of my favorites, donkeys.
Actually, you'll still see them being used in the streets of Cairo, one of Africa's biggest cities.
Can you, like, ride it?
No.
That's incredible. Wait, me? I think I might be a little too heavy.
Then there's the sheep, one of the most commonly eaten proteins in the country.
Fun and games are over. We are heading into the sheep pen right now, and our butcher is here. He's gonna do his best to catch one. Oh my gosh, he made quick work of that. I was told earlier they're eating about one sheep every 2 weeks. That's like 25 a year. That's a lot. He's taking the lamb to the slaughter point now, and then you guys know what happens next.
Here in this Muslim-majority country, it is the belief of those following Islam that all living creatures were made by their God. Animals exist for the benefit of human beings, and they must be treated with kindness and compassion. When it comes to taking an animal's life for the purpose of sustaining your own, the slaughter must be carried out in the appropriate ritual manner. The name of God is invoked in order to emphasize the sanctity of life and that the animal is being killed for food with God's consent. After all its blood drains, it's time for butchering. Here, aside from the blood, which is never eaten, nothing else goes to waste. The skin is skillfully peeled off and will later be used for leather production. The organs and meat will soon be cooked up into several dishes. Dish 1. The grilled lamb meat. The meat is chopped down to small chunks. Ribs, tenderloin, sirloin, shoulder, front and hind quarters, all of it together, marinated with onion, salt, lemon, and black pepper. That gets grilled on an open fire.
I'm here with Ibrahim.
Habibi.
Yes. Hi, call me Habibi. I mean, friend. We're making a few different dishes out of this sheep. It's going first on this grill. Oh yes, he's getting all the onions up in there.
The cooking style here is a balance between speed and flavor. It's practical, efficient, and these cooking methods can be done pretty much anywhere. At the same time, it's given just enough love with seasonings and spices so it tastes great too.
That's really good. Really delicious. Crisped up a little bit, almost dried out just on the edges though. Once you kind of crunch through the surface area, it's all super juicy inside.
The main course has just started, and this is something special. KAPSA, a dish made of rice and meat, well known in Arab cuisine, but each country makes it a little bit differently. This is how they do it here. They boil meat in a big pot along with tomato and green bell pepper, then season with salt and black pepper, then let it simmer for an hour.
Right now, we're making our main dish. This is called KAPSA. Smells good.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna put in the rice, please. It's got kind of like an orangey broth, I think from the meat itself, plus the spices together, the tomato, the onion. The rice is gonna be flavored, and then as you're eating it, there's gonna be big chunks of meat inside. Wait, how long?
15 or 20.
About 20 minutes, and that's gonna be ready. Thank you.
While waiting for the KAPSA to be cooked, Ibrahim brings me to his fields for a surprise.
So this here is the power of the Oasis. A huge vegetable garden of Ibrahim. Here he's growing all types of plants. He's gonna show me some of his giant vegetables.
Despite the arid climate, farming isn't impossible in the Oasis as long as you have water. Here in Ibrahim's field, he's growing tomatoes, onions, and these.
Oh, take a look at this. That is crazy. Look at this. This is a giant turnip. He fed this the ooze from TMNT2. He's gonna pick one of these and we're gonna have this with our dinner. It's crazy because it's already almost out of the ground. What? I've seen turnips maybe this size. This is 10 times bigger than anything I've seen before. Whoa, this one's even bigger. Okay, that is the record breaker right there.
Shit. Oh.
That's legit 20-pound turnip here. Freaking huge. So we have our veggies. I think we have to get back to the meat and hopefully we can incorporate this too. This is an incredible spread we have here. The culmination of many people's effort coming together in one big meal. All right, I love these guys. Usually when we do a scene with people, it's like, no, you can eat, be natural. Everyone here is looking forward to it. They're taking bites and they're not holding back at all. That's what I love to see. Here, the world's biggest turnip. They've just been chopped into pieces here and served raw. I'm gonna try one of these. Oh, not bad. It's interesting because it's not as crisp and it is a bit woody. I heard when they get really big, they can be kind of woody tasting. This is the grilled lamb we saw earlier, and then this is KAPSA. This beautiful blend of rice and meat together. Oh, it looks like a lamb shank. This is incredible. Wow. That is delicious. The lamb itself is super tender, juicy, protein. It's just falling off the bone. You really get the full flavor of the actual lamb. Mix that with some rice. The only thing you have to watch out for is bone fragments because they absolutely pulverized the sheep as they were kind of cutting it down to size. When is the last time you had KAPSA?
Last night.
Really? And you're not sick of it?
No.
Never. Beautiful. It's very delicious. Between the grilled lamb and this kind of more boiled lamb, it's like you cover all your texture bases. One is kind of smoky and crunchy. The other one's super soft and tender. So you kind of get every beautiful aspect of the lamb. I want to try this one.
Braised organs and meat in a mixture of onion and tomato, seasoned with salt, cumin, and black pepper.
This is the spleen.
Okay, sheep spleen. Super minerally, spongy, savory. This is a beautiful taste.
The kidney.
The kidney. Oh wow, that's a smoked kidney. That was good. I'm loving all these organs.
The throat.
Oh, the throat? This is interesting. This is the esophagus, and this is something I didn't know that people ate ever, except I had it about a week and a half ago in Zimbabwe for the first time ever. Here I am in Egypt, and I'm being offered esophagus once again. What is it you like about this?
It's crunchy.
Very crunchy. This is a beautiful meal. It's super delicious, satisfying. I really appreciate it. Shukran. Shukran. For you, or for any of you, what do you love about Egypt?
If you're perceptive, and if you've watched this whole series, you may have noticed that I don't really like it here. Now, as my trip draws to a close, I'm grasping for something positive about this place that I can take home with me.
One at a time, one at a time.
History, civilization, nature, open air, excellent weather, and those who come to Egypt and drink from the Nile will always come back. Egypt is the center of the world. Whatever you crave on earth is found in Egypt. Medicine, science, archaeology. He said Egypt is mentioned several times in the Quran. So in the Quran, God says, enter Egypt in peace. So it's the safest place on the planet.
Mother from another mother.
Hey! That was a donkey! What's its name?
Mickey Mouse.
Oh my God, it's happening!
Habibi.
Hi, he called me Habibi. I need friend.
I don't need to fall in love with every place I go.
Every minute we're shooting in the city, we're looking over our shoulders. I don't really like it.
And my point of view, even though it echoes from a large platform, it's still one among millions.
Keep rolling, but be less obvious.
People in Egypt have gone through a lot, especially in the last 10 years.
Awesome.
If things are gonna indeed change for the best, it's gonna take time. And when it happens, or if it happens, I won't be here to see it.
Today's gonna be brutal. I have no idea what to expect. It's gonna be bittersweet. It's sweet because we're getting out of Cairo, and I can't wait to be literally anywhere else but Egypt. But it's bitter because it is uncertain whether we're gonna get back the roughly $10,000 to $12,000 worth of gear that the government officials here thought it was appropriate to take from me.
In the end, after one more hellish series of interactions with airport authorities, I'm finally given back my hard drives, batteries, lights, and cameras that they took from me on the first day. In true Egyptian fashion, they treated me like a criminal to the very end, walking me to my gate and ensuring I didn't open any bags before entering the plane. When the airplane wheels finally lifted off, well, that was one of the best moments I'd experienced since I got here.